Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be chatting about making a tiny kitchen work. Currently right now, Jason and I are renting an apartment as we wait for our new home to be built. And the one thing that we are most excited for about moving into the new house is going to be the size of the kitchen. The new house has a 6-foot island with nothing in it, like no sink, so it's just 100% prep space. And we're going to have a pantry. I have not had a real pantry in so long. In saying that, however, I've really learned the tips and the tricks to making a teeny tiny kitchen work. Because other than a drawer right here, what you see is almost all we have for storage. Although our apartment is decently large, we have about 800 square feet of space, 2 bedrooms, and a decent sized laundry room. So if you consider that we are only 2 people and we only need 1 bedroom, our place is probably quite large compared to what's out there. The challenge is that not only are we 2 people who live here, but we also run our business out of our home as well. So there are days where it can certainly feel very, very crowded. The other challenge that we have with our place is while we have a very large master bedroom with a walk-through closet, 2 full-size bathrooms, and what arguably is a large laundry room, even though it's my least favorite room in this house, the kitchen is really tiny considering how much square footage this place has. I think it was just, in my opinion, maybe just a poor design layout. What I'm going to share with you today, though, is a few tricks to make your kitchen work regardless of its size so that you can really enjoy the space that you have to the most of its capacity. So let's tour our kitchen together. So here you have it. This tiny little kitchen right here is what we've been making work for us for 2 years. Now, for some people who maybe they eat out a lot or they cook pretty simple meals, is no big deal. But for us, we do so much meal prepping and we both enjoy cooking, which means when one of us is in the kitchen and the other is in the kitchen, there isn't exactly a whole lot of room. But what I found is that using a few key tips can really make the space more usable. So let's start with my first tip. Tip number 1, choose to downsize or get rid of everything that you do not need. I'm talking appliances that are single use, doubles of anything that you have. Let's be real. I mean, we probably don't need more than 3 wooden spoons. We probably don't even need that many. But choosing to only keep the things that you really, really need. What I have found is that a lot of things like piping bags or the spiralizer, which I'd love to say I use all the time and I don't, but those are things that truly, honestly, if I needed them, I could borrow them from a friend or just find a different alternative to do the same thing. So make a decision to just simply downsize what you don't need. Now, obviously, we need to make sure that we have a kitchen that functions for our needs. So there are going to be things that you have to have around, and maybe they take up a whole lot of room. So let's talk about appliances first. So let me show you the solution that I've come up with as it relates to those smaller kitchen appliances. For many small kitchens, the space underneath your sink is probably one of the largest cupboards that you have. So we really took this space to put the biggest appliances, or at least the ones that we use the most. Our under the sink drawer is such a huge piece of real estate that we really had to max it out. So in here, you're going to find the Instapot, which we use all the time. And then way at the back, which I just don't use that often, but it's so big and heavy, is our KitchenAid Mixmaster. So it's down here, it takes up the space that it needs with a big bowl, but it also tucks behind here so neatly so that we're still able to fit things like our cleaning products and all of our meal prep containers. So we've really maximized this space in our teeny tiny kitchen. So the other way that we've been able to really make use out of the fact that we don't have a pantry is we installed just a shelving unit like this in our laundry room. This cupboard also serves dual purpose, just like any other space in a little room. But in here, we've been able to make room for our blender, the juicer, the food processors, garbage bags. We've got the air fry portion to our Instapot, and then the toaster oven. We made the decision a couple years ago that a toaster oven was just going to serve us much more purpose than just a toaster. And while a toaster gets used from time to time, we have really found that a toaster oven does the job of a toaster, but also double duties for many other uses, especially when we don't want to turn on the oven. Something that I've been practicing for quite some time now is to only buy the things that you need when it comes to food. So in our house, we are either always using up the things that we have in our pantry, or if we do buy a unique ingredient, we try and find different recipes that we can experiment with over the next couple months to use up that product so that it's not just sitting in our pantry forever and ever and ever until it goes bad. Because the truth is, with our teeny tiny pantry, this is nearly all the space that we have. As far as pantry space goes, we have 2 drawers. Besides my onions, we have one shelf here for pantry goods and this space here for pantry goods. Other than that, there really isn't much else. Those are the only 2 spaces that we have in our house where we could conveniently put pantry goods. So it's no wonder that we don't have room to keep a whole lot of it. But the great thing is that I find there is so much less waste when you actively try to use up the stuff that you have. And truthfully, it's not something that's going to change a whole lot when we move, because I really believe in minimizing the waste that we create in our home. But it is also a huge budget saver. Less waste means less money going down the drain. And being more intentional about what you're making and what you're eating, it just makes financial math to me. Tip number 3 is to use containers to help you better organize your space. When a space is so small, the more organized you can be, the cleaner things look, and the more things that you can fit. What I have found with our tiny pantry that really helps is that we've gotten small organization baskets that help us keep like things together, and it helps prevent our pantry from getting overcrowded and all out of sorts. The other great thing too is that when you have organization baskets, is it allows you to quickly access anything that you need within a category. It's sorted a few different ways. Up at the very top, this is all baking goods. So this is things like your baking soda, baking powder, and other things that we just don't use too often. And then this one here is the excess spices and seasonings that are just more than what fit in our containers. This one here is a lot of our spices. They're all organized in their individual containers. So when we need spices, we can just pull that thing out, do our cooking, and go from there. The second one is a little bit more of fancy spices, things that we maybe don't use as much, but that definitely all group together perfectly. I believe the biggest fundamental to a pantry that works is one that's organized so that you can find what you're looking for quickly, so that things like cooking or meal prepping or whatever it is you're doing in your kitchen, that time isn't being used trying to find things. Another great tool when it comes to organization, something that's really worked for me, is jars. I literally use jars for everything. Personally, I just like the way it looks. I like the fact that a jar being solid, unlike maybe a bag from the bulk barn, just keeps things, first off, fresher, but more contained, organized, and they're transparent so you can see through them. So in jars, I keep things like dates, pumpkin seeds, we've got some peanuts, some sesame seeds, chia seeds, oatmeal, and I just vary the size of the jar. Some chia seeds, need to go buy more of those. But I vary the size of the jar based on what it is. So oats come in a bigger container, so I just have a bigger jar for them. Buying jars does not need to be difficult. I have collected some over the years, either from goods that we've purchased, such as olives, or we've been giving homemade jams and I've kept the jars and reused them. Or you can even go to your local thrift store and find some jars there. The last tip that I have for working with a really small kitchen is to minimize the amount of stuff that you have on your counters. When you have a really big kitchen, having a few things on your counter or in your workspace with a really big kitchen isn't so bad because you've got more space to work with. So a big thing for us is we really limit the amount of things that are on our counter to the things that we use all the time. You'll notice in our kitchen, other than our water distiller, which I can't wait to replace with a built-in in the new house, we don't have any appliances that sit on our counter. The things that you will find on our counter is literally salt, pepper, oil, paper towel, knives, and our daily use cutting board. Over here we have our Google Hub, adorable little picture of us, a bowl that normally contains fruit, but fruit fly season is in strong effect. And then I also have this cutting board here for purely decorative reasons, because I hate being able to see the cord. So that is just some handy dandy hiding on my part. But as for the rest of our kitchen, we like to keep the space very empty. While we don't have an abundance of prep space, the space that we do have really needs to be left empty so that we can utilize it to the absolute max that we can. So these are my biggest tricks to making a tiny, tiny kitchen work for us. Now, whether your kitchen is really big or teeny tiny like ours, I hope that these tools and tips can help you make the most of your kitchen space so that you really embrace and enjoy using it every chance that you can. My channel essentially is going to include so many different areas of my life. So whether it be work-related things, life-related things, being a homeowner, being a wife, being a business owner, so many things that inspire me are going to show up here to hopefully inspire you. So I encourage you to like this video if you liked this video, leave a comment, let's chat, interact. I want to learn from you, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the awesome videos that are coming to my channel soon. Talk to you later. Bye.